912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, a weekly look at high school sports in Southeast Georgia, featuring coaches, players, and journalists who know the ins and outs of prep athletics. Presented by the award-winning writers and broadcasters of 912 Sports, and sponsored by Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, and Gibson Animal Clinic. Now, this week's headline.
Week 7 kicks off tomorrow night in Bearville as the Pierce County Bears host the Rabun County Wildcats. It's the unstoppable force against the immovable object as the Rabun County offense tries to put points on the board against that stingy Pierce County defense. We talked to both coaches about the big game in Bearville. We'll have the Rosses recap as well. And then Kevin Price will take a look back at the city championship game. Robbie Ross will talk about the Richmond Hill victory over Bradwell. And you can listen to my rant about the referees. All that and more on Air with 912 Sports. Thanks for watching.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Time for the Ross Recap on 912 Sports. I'm Robbie Ross, and what a week it was in high school football in the 912. Our game of the week was a doozy. I mean doozy. The battle between the Bricks, the city championship, Glenn Academy, and Brunswick, it went to overtime, tied at 14 apiece. Glenn Academy was stopped on their initial drive in overtime. Brunswick came and kicked a field goal to win it 17-14, their second straight city championship over Glenn Academy. Brunswick 1-0 in the region. Glenn is 0-1 in the region. Benedictine over Ware County in a battle up in Savannah, 49-42, back and forth, lots of points scored. Benedictine's quarterback threw for over 400 yards, 6 total touchdowns. Thomas Castellanos had another great game, although threw some interceptions. And Cartavius Norton ran the football great for Ware County, but the Gators fall 49-42. Cook County over Brantley County, 41-13. It was Effingham going to 1-0 in the region, winning their cross-county rivalry game over South Effingham, 34-0. Richmond Hill got on the winning track for the first time in 2021, defeating Bradwell 37-14. It was Stockbridge over Vidalia 20-15. Long County was up 32-6 in the first half against Frederica. Frederica came all the way back and had a chance to take the lead on the last drive of the game, but threw an interception, losing 38-33. It was Charlton winning in dramatic fashion over Clinch County 35-34. Appling County over Wayne 41-7. Coffee County in a grinded-out battle with Camden. Coffee wins at 10-7. Pierce County over Fitzgerald, two highly ranked teams in each of their each of their classifications, I should say. Tough for me to get out. Pierce County ranked high in AAA. Fitzgerald ranked high in Single A Public. Pierce County gets the win there, 17-0. It was Toombs County all over Riverside Military Academy, 60-0, and Liberty County defeated Johnson of Savannah 22-20. That's the Ross Recap for 912 Sports.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal!
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, across from Harvey's in Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Hello everybody, Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports. This past Friday night I was out at Glenn County Stadium for our game of the week here on 912 Sports, the city championship game between Glenn Academy and Brunswick High School, and what a dandy it was. Once again, another barn burner between these two local rivals. Brunswick won the ball game 17-14 in overtime to win their second city title in a row. Here's how the game basically went down. Brunswick scored early in the ball game after Glenn had an interception on their first offensive series. Brunswick got the ball at the Glenn 30-yard line, took it in and scored in 6 plays. Pat Leggett scored the touchdown for the Pirates after they had an earlier touchdown called back by a penalty. Glenn Academy kicks a field goal late in the first quarter to make it 7-3. That was actually the halftime score. Both teams denied in the red zone in the second quarter. Brunswick threw an interception. Glenn Academy late in the half had the ball inside Brunswick's 5 on 4th down, but mishandled the snap, did not really get a playoff, and turned the ball over on down. So 7-3 at the half. Brunswick gets the second half kickoff after winning the coin toss and deferring to the second half. The Pirates go right down the field and score on a Jacoby Hill touchdown run from the 4, I believe it was. And that touchdown run set up by a long run by his backfield mate, Pat Leggett, who was the Farm Bureau insurance player of the game for the Pirates. Looks like at that point Brunswick might take control. I'm sure their fans were thinking, here we go, we're finally about to take charge of this game and pull away from the Red Terrors. But it did not happen. At 14-3, Glenn kicks another field goal to make it 14-6. Then things got wild and woolly right at the start of the fourth quarter. Glenn Academy blocked a punt deep in BHS territory. Colton Say, a senior linebacker, got his hands on the kick. Another senior defensive back for the Red Terrors, Tate Rhodes, picked it up and scored. Glenn Academy then got the 2-point conversion run on a run by Zach Ellis right at the Pirate defense. That ties it up 14-14 very early in the fourth quarter. Then late in the quarter, when it looks like we may go overtime for sure, Glenn Academy punts the ball to Brunswick. Brunswick's Terry Mitchell, a speedy, sensational sophomore for Brunswick, returned the ball deep in Glenn territory. But Brunswick had a penalty on the play. Glenn also had a penalty on the play, so the penalty's all set. Glenn had to re-kick. This time, Brunswick muffed the punt. Glenn got on the football. David Stanfield, I believe it was, their long snapper playing special teams, got on the punt. The Pirates muffed at the BHS 30-yard line. Glenn there in good real estate with a chance to maybe score and take the lead. Had a false start penalty on their first play to set them back behind the chains. They never recovered. They were going to reach for a really long field goal, setting up just inside midfield. And then that was going to be by Cody Arnold. But Glenn had a delay penalty on the play, and so they ended up having to punt the ball back to the Pirates. Brunswick did drive down inside Glenn territory as time ran out, so we go overtime. Glenn started first at the 15-yard line, actually got the ball down inside Brunswick's 5 to the 2 on 2nd and goal, but they jumped off sides again or had a procedure penalty and ended up going back 5 yards to the 7. Did get the ball back down to the Brunswick goal line, but on 4th and goal from the 1, from what I understand, talking to Glenn coaches, they blew a blocking assignment, but Kayshawn Thomas did what he was supposed to do for the Pirates as well. He, one of their big defensive linemen, read the play, comes into the hole, and makes the tackle on Zach Ellis short of the goal line to turn the Terrors over on downs. Brunswick got the ball at the 15. They actually went backwards first, but on 2nd down, they actually threw the ball, and there was a pass interference call against Glenn Academy that I'll let you decide if it was pass interference or not. It was definitely iffy. Both teams certainly admitted that and said that. But then, so Brunswick gets the ball down on the 14-yard line, I believe it was, after the penalty. On third down, they ran the ball for 2 yards. Then they turned to their sophomore kicker, McLean Finneran. He booted the ball right through like a veteran from 29 yards. The Brunswick sideline erupted. They won the city championship. And again, it was cool to see one of the littlest guys, at least high school age and up, get hoisted on the shoulders of the big uglies there during the city championship celebration as he won the Glenn County Sports Hall of Fame Player of the Game for making that game-winning kick. So 3 dramatic games in a row at Glenn County Stadium between the rivals. 2 of them decided on field goals, one by the Red Terrors 2 years ago. Brunswick won on the Miracle Between the Bricks touchdown pass last year, right at the end of regulation. And then, of course, the Pirates got it done in overtime Friday night. So Brunswick now goes to 5-0. They're 1-0 in Region 2 6A. And, of course, they overcame some adversity in that game, maybe didn't play their best, and ended up getting the job done. But the challenge for the Pirates now is to get better. They may not be as good as they think they are, or a lot of people thought they were. They've got to get better now while trying to win games, trying to close out a region championship so they can be the best possible team they can be going into the state playoffs. The challenge for Glenn now at 1-3-1 overall, 0-1 in the region, is to come off the mat again. They did it after losing 42-0 to Coffee. Now they've got to do it after losing an emotional ball game in heartbreaking fashion to the Pirates. Glenn gave an inspired effort, but their own mistakes throughout the game, it actually ended up not getting them beat, and they had a chance to win it if they don't make those mistakes. So they know they got to clean up their own mistakes before they can think about really winning football games. They know that the rest of the games on their region slate are winnable games, but right now nothing is guaranteed with some of the mistakes the Terrors continue to make over and over. So we'll see where the rest of this season takes both of these teams from Glenn County from here. But another dandy between the bricks. The Pirates win it 17-14 in thrilling fashion. For On Air with 912 Sports, this is Kevin Price reporting on the city championship ballgame.
Hello, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and I had the opportunity this past Friday night to ride over to Savannah to Memorial Stadium to see the Ware County Gators play the Benedictine Cadets and watch the Gators suffer their first loss of the season. They did it by following a perfect formula on how to lose a high school football game, and I've broken it down for you guys in 4 components. Number 1, play a good quality opponent. And that's exactly what the Ware County Gators did on Friday night. They played the Benedictine Cadets, who are a very, very talented football team. Their quarterback, Holden Garner, I believe is how he pronounces his last name. Last week we mistakenly said he was an LSU commit. He's actually an Auburn commit. And listen, guys, he is all that is advertised. He threw for 415 yards, 3 touchdown passes, and oh, by the way, he scored 3 rushing touchdowns. Oh, wait just a minute. Let me take that back. He scored 2 touchdowns rushing the ball. I'm going to give the 3rd touchdown to my second component on how to lose a high school football game, and that is having incompetent refs. And yes, you heard it first right here from Sean. Guys, I've been watching high school football a long, long time, but this crew on Friday night was about the worst that I have ever seen. Incompetent doesn't even do them justice. They had egregious call after egregious call both ways. I mean, these guys just didn't know what they're doing. Basically, how you can fumble a snap to the other team and be awarded a touchdown for it is beyond me, but yet that happened on Friday night. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can watch the video. It's all over social media. Garner takes a snap or tries to take the snap from the center. The ball bounces around. It bounces right into the Ware County player's hand about the 1-yard line. And lo and behold, that's 6 points for the Cadets. So, again, that was just the most egregious error that this refs had that night. They had several other really, really bad plays that they just really didn't have their head into the game. But it wound up costing the Ware County Gators a touchdown for sure. But let's move on because there's 2 more components. Component number 3 on how to lose a high school football game is penalties. The Ware County Gators had double-digit penalties for over 100 yards. Guys, that is not winning football. If you have that, you are not going to win many high school football games, and that's exactly what happened to the Gators on Friday night. The last component on how to lose a high school football game is turnovers. The Ware County Gators had 3 interceptions on the night, 1 that went for a pick 6, which is points for the other team. Guys, you just can't do that and win against a good quality opponent. Again, take nothing against take nothing away from the Benedictine Cadets. They came to play. It was a very hard-fought ball game. I just hate that it came down to a couple of bad calls, that kind of swung the victory in the Cadets' favor. But Ware County's going to have to learn from their mistakes. They're going to have to go and get better and try to shake off this loss. Right now, as we record this, Ware County does not have a game scheduled for 10-1, which is this upcoming Friday night. I'm of the opinion at this point in time that maybe the best thing to do is not try to play on the first. Take the 2 weeks that you have, try to get better and get ready for a tough region schedule. Because if you thought Benedictine was tough, you've got the likes of Coffee and Warner Robins coming down that region schedule, and that's going to kick it up a notch. So, again, the Gators go down to defeat 49-42 to the Benedictine Cadets on Friday night over at Memorial Stadium. So congratulations to the Cadets. Gators got to do some soul searching, got to get back on the practice field, tighten up a few things, and get ready for that tough region schedule. And we'll be following it all right here on Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke reporting.
Time now for the Richmond Hill Wildcat recap on 912 Sports. I'm Robbie Ross. Richmond Hill, the home opener all the way this late in September. They played their first 3 games on the road and were 0-3 back at the friendly confines at Wildcat Stadium, and it helped over 3,000 fans, standing room only at Wildcat Stadium, as the Richmond Hill Wildcats opened the region schedule with a 37-14 win over Bradwell. The scoring got started in the second quarter. 11 minutes to go. Ty Goldrick, the quarterback, a 1-yard run, made it 7-0. And then 10:05 left, another 55 seconds later, in fact, 10:05 left in the second quarter. A punt block by Hayden McCullough, scoop and score, made it 14-0. And then right before halftime, Richmond Hill got up 21-0, a 5-yard touchdown run by Zion Galliard. Bradwell got on the scoreboard right before halftime with their own 2 minutes and 22 seconds left before halftime. A 5-yard touchdown run to go make it 21-7. And then Richmond Hill aired it out with 31 seconds to go before halftime. A 50-yard touchdown pass from Ty Goldrick to Rayvon Grant. Missed the extra point, made it 27-7 at halftime. The fourth quarter, a 32-yard field goal by Richmond Hill. Aiden Stein made it a 30-7 game, and then with 7 minutes and 6 seconds to go, a 1-yard touchdown run by Ryan Deacle made it 37-7, pretty much salting it away, although Bradwell did score about a minute later, 6:51 to go in the game on a 65-yard touchdown pass to give us the final score, 37-14. Richmond Hill 1-3 on the year, 1-0 in region play. Bradwell falls to 0-1 in region play. Richmond Hill back on the road this Friday night in another region matchup against Statesboro. This is the Richmond Hill Recap. I'm Robbie Ross for 912 Sports.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined here by the defending state champion 3A Pierce County Bears head coach, Ryan Herring. Coach, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing great.
Coach, appreciate you being on Air with 912 Sports. Got a big game coming up this Friday night here at Bearville. You guys coming off a 17-0 victory with the first ever game played on the new turf here as far as the varsity game goes. This past Friday night, 17-0 over Fitzgerald. But got a little bit different animal coming into town this Friday night as Raven County brings their traveling road show down here to Bearville. Got a quarterback, Gunner Stockton, who's committed to the University of Georgia. Been putting up huge numbers ever since he's been taking snaps up there at Raven County. Those guys put up 70 last week.
not against really stiff competition, but again, it's hard to score 70 points against air. And you guys, Coach, coming off, as far as Sean's concerned, you're 4 shutout in a row. I know Charlton put 13 points up, but it was late in the game against your backup, so you guys running on 4 shutouts. So we've almost got the old adage, unstoppable force against the unmovable object coming together here Friday night. But talk a little bit about what you see from film when Raven comes to town on Friday night.
Well, we've been seeing some condensed formations. Like there were times Fitzgerald from one end of the formation to the other may be 10 yards apart. And this week with Raven, it's going to be 53 yards. It's sideline to sideline. So we're going to have to fend the field a lot more horizontally and vertically than what we've had to all year. It's going to be a challenge, and they've got some real good receivers. One guy's leading the state all classes in reception yards. Of course, you got a quarterback who's top-ranked quarterback in the state. They've got some big linemen, running back that can run. I mean, he can run. We've got our work cut out for us. It's a challenge. It's not going to do anything but sharpen us. We just need to make sure we're sharp on Friday night when they get here.
Okay. Well, Coach, like I said on film, what is their go-to play? Do they like to throw it over the top, or do they like to beat you underneath, or do they like to beat you with screens? What is their go-to plays as far as their offense goes?
I think their favorite thing to do is a little GT counter RPO, which he can hand it off on the counter, he can run it, or he can throw the screen out here. That's probably what they do more than anything. But also they love the mesh routes, the crossing routes. Where they can hurt you the most is when he extends plays a little bit because he can run. So when he extends a play and then people start changing routes and redirecting, you have to cover longer. So that's always a possibility. So if we can keep him from extending plays with his legs and then making plays with his arm, that'll give us a good shot to try to corral him a little bit. But a guy like him with a team like that, sometimes they're going to get yards, they're going to get first downs, they're going to make catches, make throws. He's going to extend plays. He'll make 1 or 2 guys miss. But that's just the way it's going to be, and it's going to be 4 quarters of it. So we just got to make sure where we're supposed to be, doing what we're supposed to do, and just playing hard. And a lot of times balls in the air, sometimes bad things can happen.
Right. Well, and a lot of people forget about his legs, and you're exactly right. He throws the ball very, very well, has big passing yards, has big numbers as far as the passing plays, but his legs put him in a position to get those yards. And by the way, he can score on the ground as well.
Yeah, if they get, in the red zone or short yardage, they'll just run quarterback power. They'll just take it, because he is a big boy now. He is not your average high school quarterback. So he can just power it in there, and he don't mind putting his head down and running right through you. I've seen him run over people, and Lord, one game against somebody from North Carolina, him and the kid hit, and that kid left the game. So, at times he can be like a fullback. But the big deal is we got to be where we're supposed to be. We've got to leverage coverages and formations the right way. And if we're not downhill on the counters, if we're not flying out there on the tunnel screens, fast screens, bubble screens, it doesn't take but one guy to be late being somewhere he's supposed to be, and all of a sudden you got a bust. You can be in trouble. So we got to make sure by Friday night we're on point, we're flying to the football, and we're where we're supposed to be. And generally, if you do that, and I'm not saying you're going to shut anybody out, but you got to make it hard for them to score. If they can walk down the field into the end zone, it's going to be a long night. If they have to work and earn stuff and make a play every time they have the ball, you got a better shot of making it a good game. But when you're averaging 50 points a game, you know what you're doing on offense, and they got good players. So it's just going to be a challenge, and we look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you guys got your superstar back in DJ Bill. He played a lot this past Friday night against Fitzgerald, so I know you guys are happy about that. But let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. What kind of defense are you going to see from Raven, and what are you guys going to have to do to be successful of scoring the points for the Bears on Friday night?
Well, Raven's a 3-3 stack team. They don't like to break the stack a whole lot, but they will. If they want to go too high, they'll break the stack if they have to. So if you get tight ends in there, they're going to have 8. They're going to have 8 guys right there in the line of scrimmage, and they're going to bring the stack backers through C's or B's and X them with the defensive end. So they're going to try to create some problems for you. But we've seen some stack this year already, so it won't be anything we hadn't seen. But they do play hard. They've got a defensive end nose guard, big strong kids. So I think it's a great matchup for us. Just like last week, we'll find out more about ourselves this week. So all it's going to do in the long run, as far as region race playoff time, is get us better. You'd rather be playing a team like this than playing a team that you may win 70-0. Right. Because I don't know how much better you get when you go out and win a game 70-0.
Right. And you're exactly right. I mean, good competition, iron sharpens iron, as they say. And Coach, for you guys to be successful on Friday night, as far as run, pass, mix, what do you think it's going to take to get you guys a victory?
Well, we're going to have to be able to mix in some throws. And DJ can do that. He can throw a football. He had 2 touchdown passes Friday night. He should have had 3. We dropped the other one. I hate to put that in there, but he was close to having 3 touchdown passes Friday night. So we're going to have to be able to mix it. We got to, and being balanced a lot of time isn't 50. Doesn't mean 50-50. It means throwing when you want to throw, running when you want to run, and not being dictated. Not being in 3rd and 12, and everybody in the stands knows you're throwing the ball. We've got to be able to throw it when we want to, and if we can do that, that'll help us out a lot.
Right. Well, Coach, should be a great atmosphere here in Bearville Friday night. Should be a huge crowd. Not a lot of football being played in the 912 on Friday night. There's probably 6 to 8 teams that are off this week, so a lot of people in the area are going to be looking for football games to go to, and there's none bigger than the one right here in Bearville on Friday night. So you guys should have a great gate, great concessions. Put a little money in that, coffer for a rainy day. But best of luck to you guys on Friday night. Hopefully, Coach, when we talk to you next week, we'll be talking to the 5-1 Pierce County Bears.
I like the way you think, Sean. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Go Bears. Thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports. We're joined here by the head coach of the Rabun County Wildcats, Coach Jabo Shaw. Coach, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, Coach, we appreciate you being on. And before we get going and talking a little bit about your football team, Coach, let's give everybody the history here, because I had it backwards before. I was thinking that Connor was the coach up there, and then I actually reached out to Coach Rock Jernigan and said, "You want J-Bo's number? Because J-Bo's the coach up there." And I'm like, "Yeah, I want the coach's number up there." And he got me straight. But, of course, Connor went to South Carolina, Coach Shaw, and you wound up starting off at Georgia Tech and then wound up at Georgia Southern. Talk a little bit about your time as a college football player.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I was a son of a high school coach. I've always grew up on the sidelines, been the ball boy, water boy, and knew very early on that I was going to be a high school coach one day. And so playing for my dad at Flowery Branch High School, and was very fortunate and blessed that I was a part of Coach Johnson, Paul Johnson's first recruiting class at Georgia Tech after he left Navy, and spent my first 2 years there playing quarterback. And the guy who recruited me to Georgia Tech, Jeff Monken, when he got the job at Georgia Southern, I was the backup at Tech and behind Josh Nesbitt, and had 2 years left. And Coach Monken got the job at Georgia Southern, and I made the jump with him. And, just very blessed that I got to play for 2 unbelievable coaches with Coach Johnson and Coach Monken. And I think very, very highly that they're another father figures for me. And then, enjoyed my time at both universities and institutions, and had great memories at Georgia Tech. We were very successful there. We won an ACC championship and be able to be a part of that. And then obviously the run that we made down in Statesboro with 2 back-to-back semifinal finishes in the FCS playoffs, and just blessed to be around great coaches, around great players, great teammates. And then after I got done playing, again, like I said, I knew I wanted to get into coaching, and came back to high school, and then went back with Coach Monken as a graduate assistant at Georgia Southern, went up to Army with him for about 6 months, and then got my first position job at Western Carolina up in Cullowhee, North Carolina, and FCS program in the SoCon. And then just like I said, I'm son of a high school coach. I knew I was going to be on a high school sideline, and nothing's better than Friday night. So here I am, man.
Well, Coach, you've done a fabulous job up there. Had a lot of talent. Had some really good teams here over the last couple of years. But speaking of Coach Paul Johnson, I noticed I read an article yesterday out of the Savannah Morning News. His name's getting tossed around with Georgia Southern making a move there, and parting ways with Coach Chad Lunsford. Now we're getting all these names thrown out there for GSU, and I'll tell you what, they could do a lot worse than hiring back Paul Johnson. That's for sure. I mean,
sure.
Talk about somebody to get it turned back around. He would be your guy, but can you get him out of retirement? That's the question. But Coach, let's focus in on your football team up there in Raven County. You guys had a great run last year. You've got one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the country in Gunnar Stockton. He was an early South Carolina commit, but then when Will Muschamp, parted ways with South Carolina, he wound up committing to the University of Georgia. But he's just had a fabulous year for you guys. And I'm going to read off some numbers that I've got, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but he's like 72 for 103 on the year. 1,628 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and oh, by the way, just another 324 with his, with his legs. So, just a phenomenal athlete who's having a fantastic year.
Yeah, he really is. And anytime you have a 4-year starter at quarterback, the experience level that Gunnar brings, then you put on top of that with his athleticism and his skill set, and not everybody in the country can do what he can do. And just very fortunate that. He's a part of Raven County and he's our quarterback. But, I say this multiple times when I get asked about Gunnar, but, he's an unbelievable talent, unbelievable player, but he's even a better person, better teammate. He's a role model in our community. And so anytime your best player is even a better person, I think that carries throughout your football team, carries out throughout your community. And we've got a good thing going right now. And we've got an unbelievable challenge ahead of us. And I know we'll talk about that in a minute, but just Gunnar's having a special year, and it's been fun to watch him grow up since 7th, 8th grade to where he is now, and how he's handled the recruiting process. Very fortunate I get to coach him.
Yeah, and Coach, football is not an individual game. Gunnar started his next level. We all know that. But you have a lot of talented guys around him. I know you got some really big guys on the line of scrimmage. But talk a little bit about that offensive side of the ball for you guys, and who helps Gunnar get those big numbers put up every Friday night.
Yeah, I think the number one thing, and I think you ask anybody that coaches or is involved with sports and gets it, our 5 offensive linemen are all seniors, and they've been playing since they were sophomores. So, again, that's hard to you don't see that a whole lot, especially in high school football, and the turnover, especially at a AA or a AAA or, not necessarily a 6 or 7A school. But we're very fortunate. We've got a big senior class. There's 22 or 23 of them. For a AA school, that's a lot for us. And so it starts with those 5 guys up front, obviously, and them being seniors, they kind of lead us, so to speak, in the trenches. And then this is probably the best we felt in all 4 spots, really 3 receiver spots and a tight end spot. For us, this is the best we've felt as far as our depth, being explosive at those skill spots. And then our running back, he does a lot of good things for us, and catching the ball out of the backfield, running the football. So, we've got some really good pieces of the puzzle playing for us right now. And, like anything, it's, stay healthy and get ready for region and play tough non-region games and get you ready for hopefully a run down the line. But I've been really proud of our offense and being explosive, and we can always get better at execution. But where we're at right now is we've done some really good things so far. We just got to find a way to continue it.
Right. And I believe your receiver leads all classifications in receiving yards. Yeah. And of course, that's a byproduct of having a quarterback who's got 100 yards of passing the ball. But Coach, and I know you've seen Pierce County on film, and I've called this game the unstoppable force against the immovable object, because something's got to give here. You guys put up 70 points last week, and I keep saying this, but by Sean's standards, Pierce has pitched 4 shutouts in a row, 25-0 against Wayne, 38-0 against Claxton, and Clint scored 13 points, but it was with 3 minutes to go in the game against JV, and then again another shutout against a very good Fitzgerald team last week. So that's 4 shutouts in a row. But you guys come in here averaging over 50 points a game. Something's got to give. But when you look at the film, Coach, tell us a little bit about what you see about that Pierce defense that makes them so good.
I think the best compliment, and we say it to our guys, to anybody, the best compliment a player or a coach can get is how hard they play. Mm-hmm. And man, it is. They do. I sent Coach a text and told him just when we were talking, got unbelievable respect for Pierce County and how hard they play and the pride that they play with for Pierce County. That is without question one of the things that jump out on film is how hard they play for each other and how much pride they have for what they do and their program, and football matters. down there, and got a ton of respect because of how hard they play, and they play for each other. And I think there's just a lot of respect from coach to program when you see a team play so hard, and you take schemes out of it and take all the fluff, around the game of football out. Do you play harder than the other team? And Pierce, that's something that they do very, very well, and you can tell that it's a point of emphasis. And again, got a great pride, and by no means am I trying to take away the talent that they have. They have unbelievable talent, and got guys that can be very explosive on both sides of the ball and in the kicking game. So just a tremendous amount of respect from Rabun County to Pierce County, and it's going to be a great high school football game.
Right. Yeah, going to be a long ride for you guys, but you guys get down here safe, Coach. Can't wait. I'm going to try my best to be at that game on Friday night. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk a little bit before the game there. But you guys, like I said, have safe travels. I'm really looking forward to an electric atmosphere there at Bearville this Friday night. Only the second game played on the new turf there, so still really breaking that place in. But again, like I said, something's got to give.
Yes, sir.
We're going to see a clash of titans there on Friday night. And listen, you guys played at Georgia State last year for a state title, come up a little bit short. They played for a state title and won, and it would not surprise me, Coach, to see you both back there again for this season. But like I said, so congratulations on that. You guys get here safe, and we'll talk to you on Friday night.
Sounds good, man. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for all you do for high school football in the state of Georgia, man. That's why we're the best.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. That's Coach Jabo Shaw, head coach of the Rabun County Wildcats, as they come down to Bearville this Friday night to take on the Pierce County Bears. Plenty of tickets available, so y'all come on out and watch a great high school football game. Coach, y'all have a great evening, buddy.
Thank you, man. You too.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined here by podcast host and writer Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, Sean. It's awesome to be here talking football again, but I tell you what, kind of seems like in a roundabout way we're running out of time real quick already. Week 7 for us here. It seems like we just got started yesterday.
Exactly. I mean, it seems like yesterday we were talking about scrimmage games right out here after Ware Brunswick High scrimmage. We are on the campus of Brunswick High School, out here on their practice field as we're getting set to do a softball game later on today. But Kevin, we're going to talk about the preview, or we're going to preview the games from week 7, 10-1 games, and we're going to start off with our game of the week, and that's the Pierce County Bears are going to be hosting the Rabun County Wildcats there in Bearville on the new turf field. Bears christened that stadium in a varsity game last Friday night by beating Fitzgerald 17-0. But got a little bit different animal coming in this this Friday night. I had a chance to talk to Coach, and you can see that here on Air with 912 Sports. But going to face one of the best quarterbacks really in the nation, not just the state of Georgia. A highly sought after recruit in Gunner Stockton. The kid is just lights out. Not only can he beat you with his arm, but he can beat you with his leg. And as a matter of fact, Kevin, I think you've got some stats over there that we were able to look up for for Gunner Stockton that we'll get into. But this is going to be, I believe I referred to this, Kevin, as the unstoppable force against the immovable object. And basically something has got to give. The Pierce County Bears have been playing great defense. according to Sean, they have pitched 4 shutouts in the last 4 games. And listen, everybody, Clinch County scored 13 points on them. Yeah, they scored 13 points with 3 minutes to go on their, the JV, 9th grade team. Okay, so as far as the starters go for Pierce County, they have pitched 4 shutouts in a row, shutting out Wayne 25-0, Claxton 38-0, the 33-13 game there at Clinch, which I count as a shutout, and then last week 17-0 against a very good, Kevin, Fitzgerald football team. I mean, this is a team in AA that's going to make a deep run that year after year plays for a state title. Tucker Pruitt does a great job over there with the Purple Hurricane, and they're a formidable foe. They came into Bearville and they went home with a 0. As a matter of fact, I think they had 1 first down the whole entire game and had 35 yards or 34 yards of total offense in the whole game. So let me tell you something. This defense for the Pierce County Bears is stout. Now, they're going to face, like I said, a different animal this Friday night coming in. Rabun County put 70 on the board against Pickens last Friday night. Pickens is nowhere near the football team that Fitzgerald is. But again, Kevin, it's hard to score 70 points against your, scout team on a practice field.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, back to that game last week against Pierce. Had to be a heck of an atmosphere over there in Bearville. First home game of the season, several weeks into the season. That's odd, number one. But a new setup over there, new turf field. And like you said, they brought it in the right way with probably one of the best defensive performances of all time, over there in Bearville. But certainly on that new turf because it just got laid down. But, the other night, I think you're right, Sean, 34 yards of offense for a really good Fitzgerald team. One that played on the turf up at Georgia State, just like Pierce did last year. Fitzgerald played for a AA championship. Pierce, of course, won the AAA championship. 34 yards of offense, 1 first down, I think, or at least didn't give up a first down until under the 10-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Again, I don't care who you're playing. That's some defense right there. That's some defense.
Solid.
Shutout is one thing, Sean, but not giving up a first down until the 4th quarter, that is incredible, especially against a team like Fitzgerald. So we talked about it last week. Pierce with that defense, they can go to war, go to bat with that defense, and win most every Friday night. But we know they got their bell cow back in the backfield on offense. DJ Bell came back. He's going to play quarterback this year. Had a pretty good night for them. But, Sean, this game is offense, Rabun County, defense, Pierce. We'll see what gives. Of course, you mentioned Gunner Stockton. He's a gunner.
Yeah, exactly. He can sling it.
He is 72 of 103 on the season for 1,628 yards and 22 touchdowns. And he can run the football as well. He's a dual-threat quarterback, 324 yards rushing for him as well. And Sean, like you mentioned, one of the top recruits in the country at the quarterback position, had been committed to South Carolina. But after the coaching change last year with them getting rid of Will Muschamp, who is now on Georgia's staff as a defensive analyst, even though he's on the sidelines, that certainly had to have a lot to do with it. I'm not sure if that was everything to do with it, but Gunner Stockton decommitted from South Carolina and is now committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. And they've already got a good one over there standing on the sidelines in Brock Vandergrift.
Right.
And now they're going to have Gunner Stockton coming in right behind him, and maybe even Arch Manning. Who knows? So we'll just have to see. But offense against defense, the marquee matchup in this ball game. Not to mention one of the top recruits in the country coming into Bearville. This has excitement written all over it. I wish I could be there. I've got other duties, but this would be the game, or one of the games that I would consider going to if I didn't have to be elsewhere.
Exactly, and like Coach and I talked about it this morning on this podcast that you can see and listen to right there on 912sports.net. But there really, Kevin, is not a whole lot of games. We're going to get to, the slate of games here. There's not that many games this week. I forget, but there's like 8 or 9 teams in our coverage area that are off this week. All the schools around those guys are basically off, so there should be a huge crowd in Bearville this Friday night. So if you're looking for an exciting high school football game to go to, this definitely could be one. But let's roll right along, Kevin. We got another big matchup. The Camden County Wildcats, who played great over in Coffee County, almost came away with a win. Matter of fact, that game was a 10-7 game and a hard-fought defensive battle game, but come up just a little bit short. Well, this week they're going to have even as full, if not fuller, than what they had last week as Warner Robbins comes over to Chris Gilman Stadium to play Coach Herron and his Wildcats. Listen, Warner Robins is as good as advertised, folks. There's a lot of people around Warner Robins that are talking about that this team may be better than their 76 team. There are, talent all over the field. This football team hung 56 points on Lee County last week, and Lee County are the defending 6A state champion?
Finished second.
Okay, that's right. Lost to Buford in overtime. Okay,
but they are ranked number one. Were ranked number one.
Right, in 6A. So, I mean, this is not Little Sisters of the Poor that Warner Robins is beating up on. This is one of the better teams in the state of Georgia, and they hung 56 and won the game by 26 points. So this is a formidable foe that Camden's going to be facing Friday night in Chris Gilman Stadium.
Oh, no question. Talking to Coach Jeff Aaron on his podcast, which shameless plug, you can go listen to that as well for more on the Wildcats and more on this ball game. But, Coach Aaron is a serious customer, but he likes to joke around and have fun. And he said, I can't remember if it was the NFL or the Georgia High School Association, or maybe both, but he called to see if he could play the Jacksonville Jaguars instead of the Warner Robins Demons, and didn't work out, so he stuck with Warner Robins. But I kind of joked with him. I was like, Coach, did you happen to call Coach Bob Spire, who was there previously, and say, hey, man, what possessed you to make this schedule? I mean, Coffee and Warner Robins back-to-back, they're going to get a much-deserved break next week before they get into the region schedule. And guess, by the way, who's first on the region schedule? The Colquitt County Packers. So Jeff Herron is going to earn his 60% paycheck this week. But, hey, this is a great challenge for Camden. Certainly they're going to be battle-tested when they go into that ultra-tough region schedule because of what they've faced already. Of course, Warner Robins here, but also Coffee last week. And, Sean, when I talked to Coach Herron on his podcast, I know he's not into moral victories, but some of the highlights that I saw from that game, Sean, I thought I was watching the 2003 Camden County Wildcats, which won a state championship, by the way. They did some good stuff in the wing tee, and they had to play really good defense to hold that team to 10 points. It was 3-0 at halftime, and that's because Coffee has a kicker that can kick it a zillion yards.
Right.
And he made a long field goal to make it 3-0. Camden scores in the third quarter to make it 7-3, and guess who made the play of the game for Coffee? A little halfback pass out of a run formation that they have not passed out of all year. Camden actually bit on the run, and it was a great play call by Coffee, and they executed it well. And I joked about having one guy wide open. Coach Aaron said, no, I think, Kevin, they really had 4 or 5.
Well, the guy you're talking about, of course, is Maurice Turner. I mean, he's Mr. Do Everything this year. Now he's throwing touchdown passes, Kevin. I'm pretty sure he's drove the bus. He's run kickoffs back. He's run punts back. He's, caught touchdown passes. He's ran touchdown passes. And now he's throwing touchdown passes. So he's Mr. Do Everything for Coffee. But, I know Coach doesn't get into moral victories, but me as a casual observer or a high school football fan, I think that was a well of a job for Camden to go over there and to keep that game close and to have a chance in the fourth quarter. Because really that's all you can ask, Kevin, in high school football when you're playing good people. Did I have a chance in the fourth quarter? It might not have went my way, but at least I had that opportunity, and Camden definitely had that opportunity.
Yeah, and Sleddings was tough against Coffee. They played really good defense as well, but Camden did win the yardage battle. They had just over 300 yards. Coffee had just under 290. Camden lost one of their go-to running backs early in the ball game, so they were really keying on Jamie Felix. That's why a couple of other guys had some big games, including the kid I think they called Bama that had scored the touchdown. But even the Logan kid at quarterback had some nice runs and made some nice throws, so he's kind of maturing as well. But Sean, for Camden to have any chance at all in this ball game, you got to put the wing tee aside first. They've got to stop Warner Robins and get the ball game to the fourth quarter.
Right.
I'm sure they'll do everything offensively they can to slow the ball down, turn clock, but this Warner Robins team makes you defend the whole field. Their quarterback is really good. His first year starting, I guess, but he's thrown for almost 800 yards. Brown, their go-to guy in the backfield, has run for almost 600 yards. They got 2 wide receivers out there that could do damage on any Friday night. One of those guys, I think the Walker kid, had almost 200 yards receiving in that game against Lee County the other night. And talking to Coach Herron about it, like there was a spot in the third quarter where I think it was a 28-16 lead for Warner Robins, and they were in control of the ball game. Now, don't get me wrong, the Lee self-destructed. They gave up that kickoff return. I think they had an interception or a scoop and score. Warner Robins did, and Lee turned around and fumbled the ball again and gave Warner Robins a short field. So they self-destructed, but Warner Robins was always in control against a really good Lee team that very well could win Class 6A if Buford or somebody else does not answer the challenge. So this Warner Robins team, you mentioned them, may be better than that 76 team. For longtime Georgia high school football fans, that team of coach was of course coached by Robert Davis. They had James Littleman Brooks, who went on to play at Auburn, and they also had a guy named Ron Simmons, who may be best known for what he did in the wrestling ring as opposed to what he did on the football field. But that team was loaded for bear, and if they're better than that team, watch out. Forget about it. Cancel Christmas.
Exactly. Just get ready to print the trophy up. But we're going to move right along to the next game. Next game up is the Richmond Hill Wildcats are going to be traveling over to Statesboro to take on the Blue Devils. And Kevin, we're talking about this game because I think this team positions itself to finish second or third in the region. The region that Brunswick's in, that Bradwell's in, that Glenn's in, that Richmond Hill's in, that Statesboro's in, that South Effingham. This game, these two teams, to me, you might want to throw Effingham in that mix, but all these guys have a shot at making the playoffs. The thing that's yet to be determined in what mode. If I had to call it right now, I would say Brunswick's probably going to go in as 1, Glenn's probably going to go in as 2, but 3 and 4 are really wide open. And this game Friday night in Statesboro is going to determine a lot about that position at 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think going into the Brunswick-Glenn game the other night, which was our game of the week, Brunswick won, by the way, 17-14, as Robbie recapped in his Ross's recap. But Glenn certainly had their chances to win that one. But Brunswick is, up here right now. They've got a chance to run the table and win this region now that they're through that ball game. That's not a discredit to anybody else, but they should be favored the rest of the way as long as they take care of business or until somebody steps up and plays them off their feet. But when you're looking at the rest of the region, 2, 3, 4 might be up for grabs. I mean, I think Glen Academy's got a chance. I think Richmond Hill's got a chance. You're right about Statesboro. I think you're right that Effingham could be in there as well. Bradwell and South Effingham a little bit behind all those teams at the moment. So these matchups, when all these teams face each other, who beats who, I mean, it could be a mess, kind of like Glen County Stadium was after that Brunswick High game against Islands because of the downpour. We could have all kind of tiebreaker scenarios going on depending on what happens in the middle of this region.
Well, and don't forget, Kevin, this region ended in a 3-way tie last year between Brunswick, Glen, and Richmond Hill, thanks to a 7-5 game that Glen was able to beat Richmond Hill in Glen County Stadium. So we'll be keeping an eye on this region closely and seeing what will happen. But a good game should happen over there in Statesboro between the Richmond Hill Wildcats and the Statesboro Blue Devils this Friday night. But let's go ahead and run through the rest of the games, Kevin. We've got Jeff Davis is going to go over to Bacon. These are two programs, Kevin, that are going in different directions. Jeff Davis is ascending. Bacon is struggling. Still doesn't have a win on the season. Glen Academy is going to travel over to Bradwell. I think Glen takes care of their business there. South Effie's got to come to Brunswick. Unless Brunswick doesn't show up, that's pretty much going to be a victory for them. Charlton's got to go to Turner. Another tough region game. Charlton, congratulations on beating Clinch last Friday night in a big war in overtime. But they got a leg up there in that region. Southeast Bullock is going to travel to Liberty County. ECI is going to play MCA. So got a lot of letter schools going on there. ECI, good single A program. So MCA will have their hands full there. St. Andrews is going to travel over to Robert Toombs Christian Academy. Swainsboro are going to take on East Lawrence. And Tatnall is going to step down from 3A to 2A to take on Vidalia. So some great games in the area here this week. Not the slate that we had last week, Kevin, but there's a couple of marquee games there with the Camden Warner Robins game and then also the Pierce-Rabun County game. So listen, if you're looking for a great high school football game to go to, get out and check them out. Like I said, it should be a good one in your area. But if you're looking for one to go to, the one in Bearville on Friday night is going to be a good one. So, but I appreciate everybody watching 912 Sports.
This has been On Air with 912 Sports. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with more coverage of Southeast Georgia high school sports. On Air with 912 Sports has been brought to you by Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, Gibson Animal Clinic, Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, and Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty. This has been a presentation of 912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports.